Hello, welcome back to another edition of the I'm Always Right Sports Podcast. I am your host, as always, the Mouth of Michigan, Rob Medecker. With me, as always, my co-host, the Merkzone, Mike Merkel.
I'm here.
Missing once again the whaleman, that son of a... No, I'm just kidding. Mike, we got a lot to go over. I know it doesn't feel like there's a lot of stuff to touch on, but at the same time, there's so much change happening around the world. Coronavirus, we talked about it last week. Now, this week, it's truly in full effect for a lot of reasons. Everything's off, right? Everything's off the table at this point. No one knows what the heck's going on. We're going to talk the coronavirus some more, its impact, its outreach, what it's happened, what we're missing now, what we're not going to be able to talk about, what we are still going to be able to talk about. We're going to then talk about the new CBA for the NFL. They literally just signed it a couple hours before we went on air, so we're going to break that down a little bit. In the second half of the show, we're going to do another Merkzone Mock Draft. However, this week's Merkzone Mock Draft Corner is going to be a little bit different because yours truly found a mock draft that he's going to show to Mike because I think it's interesting. It's a little bit of a different take on the draft, so we'll attack that. And then we're also going to do our promised free agency primer. We're going to, free agency as of this recording is still on for this Wednesday. I don't know if that's going to be the case going forward. We'll talk about that in a second. But if it is, we'll have all that information for you ready to go. As far as the Lions go, the Lions made some moves past couple days. We're going to break all of that down for you today. But let's just go with the hot topic. Everyone's talking about it, literally, and nobody can stop talking about it, it feels like. The coronavirus, I don't want to say strikes again, but has continued to ruin our lives for several different reasons. It started off as, the NBA is going to suspend games. That was the big news. And now it's, now we're not going to get a Big Ten tournament, an ACC tournament in basketball. Now March Madness isn't going to have fans. And then 17 minutes later, never mind, March Madness is canceled altogether. NHL delays the season. Spring training is now delayed for Major League Baseball, which is going to push back the opening of the season. The XFL, rest of the season, gone. See ya, goodbye.
Come back next year.
Yeah, come back next year, we hope, right? The NFL has, they canceled some of their spring meetings. They have not yet delayed the draft as of now. They're thinking about doing it without a whole bunch of people there like usual, which doesn't surprise me. Like I said before, free agency is still scheduled to kick off as of now. I don't think it's going to, but we have to assume it is for now. So yeah, everything's off. Everything's off, right? We're sitting here watching cornhole tournaments and old bowling, and it's just it's a rough time to be a fan. I know we were gonna do a whole March Madness episode, even without the fans. We were still gonna be able to do a bracket and everything like that. Now everyone's got a perfect bracket because nobody wins.
Yeah.
But Mike, just your thoughts on just how fast this has affected the sports community. I mean, it's affecting our everyday lives too, but we don't take that stuff that seriously here on this show. We're not gonna bum you out.
We're gonna go play basketball later.
Yeah, I say we're not gonna bum you out with all of the news and all that good stuff. But from a sports perspective, though, I mean, we're in purgatory right now. We really are. We're all just kind of floating here, And I know we're doing a lot of NFL talk this week. It's strictly because it's the only league that's doing anything right now. So. Your thoughts on how fast this has kind of hit the sports world, and how much do you hate your life right now?
I actually hate my life quite a lot right now, I'm not going to lie. My viewing room is not going to be used for a good month and a half now.
I'm going to watch all my movies all over.
I know, I got to watch all 340 of them all over again because there's nothing else to do out here. Usually I have NBA on, NHL on, and now it's going to have March Madness on every single day.
Yep.
Now all that's taken apart.
It's all gone.
Stupid virus that's going around infecting everyone's lives.
Yeah.
And it's an awful time.
Yeah.
It really is an awful time.
For sure. Are you off school? Did they cancel? Are you
I had
online?
this first week off. So like some colleges like Oakland, they're just like, online school.
Yeah, right.
You guys are screwed.
Yeah, right.
We're not going to school until like March 23rd, and then they're going to reevaluate and see what happens.
Okay, so they're kind of kicking the can down the road.
Yeah, so we're basically going to be off school.
Yeah, that's good for you guys. They kept my office open. But anyway,
get affected.
Yeah, right. But no, though, in all honesty, right, there were so many big things about to happen, right? NHL season just about to get to the playoff time. The NBA
season was going to get to the playoffs.
I know, right? The NBA was really, we were right at that threshold, right, where we were about to talk about NBA playoffs. Now, to be fair, baseball's not canceled, right? Hockey is not canceled. The NBA is not canceled necessarily. No. As of now, March Madness as of right now is. I know there's been a little bit of buzz about some coaches trying to get together to kind of provide a plan to maybe get March Madness just rescheduled. It'd be April Madness, something like that. I've heard that some big time coaches like Gonzaga's coach. I know they've talked a couple of guys.
Dave wants to do it too.
Yeah, right.
The smaller schools,
right? Because it's money. There's money involved with that.
There's problems with that though.
Oh yeah,
that arise. So I don't think they'll be able to.
I don't think they will either. But there's been some talk, right? I don't think it's going to happen. I think this year's just going to be like that's a wash. I know they've been talking. The NCAA's been talking about extra eligibility for seniors and other players. Which in all honesty, like if you're going to the show, you're going to the show. It's not really going to matter. But your thoughts on this season, especially here's the thing. Do you think out of any sport, right, which one is taking the biggest hit right now? Because I personally think it's the NBA. Mm-hmm. Because you're right at the playoff time. Now the NHL, just because the NHL is not as popular as a whole in the United States, right? That's why I say the NBA. Baseball, it's going to be around for 7 months anyway, so kicking the can down the road a week or a couple weeks or a month, whatever, fine. But I think the NBA, due to its popularity, right, it's the primary sport going on right now for most Americans, right? And you're just about to end the playoff end of this, right? Mm-hmm. You've never been more balanced as far as the league goes, as far as superstars on a whole bunch of different teams, and now you're cutting the game. Now you're cutting the regular season short by 20-some games.
Yeah, I mean, I would be a lot more worried if there was a lot of
close races
and seeding matchups that were problems.
Right.
There's a lot of 2 through 5 seeding matchups that are all a game or two away. Mm-hmm. But I think if they go into April 18th or whatever, whenever Adam Silver goes,
the minimum time.
The minimum time, whatever it goes. Okay, we're just going to start the playoffs now.
Right.
I don't think there's going to be too many teams besides maybe New Orleans because they're only 2 games behind an 8 seed, where they're just going to be
right.
I mean? As long as you're in the playoffs, you seeding at that point is just
you got a shot now.
Yeah, you have a shot.
Right.
If you're not playing the team you wanted to play, you probably weren't going to play them originally or anything. Mm-hmm. So I do think the NBA is hitting hard. I think the league that hits the hardest is college basketball.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the NCAA.
Because I think
March Madness is such a cow.
Their playoff atmosphere.
Absolutely, for sure.
So the NBA is not there yet, but I think in the long run the NBA is going to get hit the hardest by far. Yeah. Because I think especially if they end up canceling this season for some reason, if it doesn't clear by April, May, they're just are we just going to end the season now?
Right.
There's so many.
Oh, there'll be a lot of teams that are pissed. Well, here's the thing. Let me ask you this because we talk about LeBron here a lot on the show, right? Now, if the season were to get canceled, that's going to introduce a whole host of problems for some of these teams, like the Lakers, where does Anthony Davis now become a free agent?
Yeah.
Does he have to stay another year? Are they going to rework some stuff? Are they going to all right, let's play it back? Because we've told this before, if the Lakers don't get it done now, we don't know if they ever will, right? Especially if Anthony Davis leaves. This could be LeBron's last shot at getting a good team with an actual chance to the finals. Now, maybe he wills them on nothing but sheer will another year later or something like that. But the point being is that he's never had a guy like this before. Yeah. If he leaves and now all this kind of stuff shakes out and you're like, man, if you're a Lakers fan or you lose a year, if you're the Clippers, wow, we just lost a whole year of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. We could have theoretically won a championship. Yeah. The Bucks are dude, we're having the best season almost ever, and no one's even talking about it. Yeah. We could have had a run to the finals. We could win a championship. Yeah. I mean, the implications of a fully canceled season would be huge. Yeah, I can't even imagine.
It's just you're wasting. The Warriors are going to come back and if they get to the finals, they're we've been in the finals now 6 straight years because there was no finals. Mm-hmm.
Right, and we got the first pick.
And we got the first pick. You know what I mean?
And we got Minnesota's first pick.
Yeah, they're up there.
Yeah,
and you're wasting away LeBron's last 2 or 3 years
of playing true. I mean, he's 35.
Yeah,
he's 35. Jeez.
So you're just wasting away now. Next year he's gonna be 36, and he probably won't be the same player.
Well, yeah. Well, even if he is, if Anthony Davis is gone, I mean, good lord, talking about a gaping size hole.
Yeah, it's going to be a big...
Right. There's just so many different things, right? There's a lot of implications. For Pistons fans, it's like, damn, I want to rest these games to play out so we can keep losing and hopefully tank to get to a top 3 pick. Yeah. That's what you were hoping if you're a Pistons fan. You're at, I think, 5 right now, I think, in most. I've seen the lottery generators get you anywhere from 3 to 7 is where I've kind of seen them right now. So either way, if you get to 3, maybe you're not as upset. But if you have potential to get 1, even though there's not a Zion out there, still going to get somebody worth a damn. Lots of different stuff affecting, everything. So unfortunately, we're not going to be doing. I promised last week we were going to be doing a quick hitter episode on the March Madness, but now that March Madness is at this point canceled, that's going to be a pretty short episode. So we're not going to be doing a quick hitter. Yeah. Who wins? Blank space. That's who wins.
That's who wins.
But yeah, so obviously this is taking a massive hit on everything. Hopefully, in Detroit it feels weird because I feel like this is the time where it's like this happens now, especially here in this city where you kind of go. Okay, because everyone's so terrible anyway. Like, Pistons are bad. We know they're tanking, finally. The Wings have been tanking, so they're the first team eliminated. The Tigers, they didn't really start up yet, and they're going to be bad anyway. It's kind of like, okay, that's okay if we just kind of skip this whole season and just go to next year. Because, this has not been the best go-round. So, obviously, interesting. We'll kind of keep note of it. Hopefully, we get some NBA playoff basketball because that's where I'm really excited. I'd be really bummed out if we don't get some of these matchups because that's going to really suck. All right, let's jump now to the new NFL CBA. It officially passed this morning. 17-game regular season officially. Now, I know every year it's been week 17, but there's a bye thrown in there. Now we have 17 games, including bye. So an 18-week regular season. 3 preseason games, right? So we knock off a preseason game. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
And then we also have, increased revenue share for the players. We have additional playoff teams now. So instead of 6 playoff teams, there's going to be 7, which then forces now the 2 seed who normally gets a bye in the first week of the playoffs. Now they have to play, which is once again another game. There's a lot of changes. I'm not going to bore you with all the details on revenue and player equity and increased game checks and yada yada yada. We don't care about that as fans. They can handle that themselves. But from a content perspective, though, this changes the game quite a bit because now you have. Once again, you have another game, right? It's against the opposite conference, correct?
Yeah, they pick one of the 3. So, hypothetically, you're the Lions, right? Normally, you would play, say, the entire AFC East.
Right.
Hypothetically. Yep. So, since you were the last seed this year, you would play the bottom seed of one of the 3 remaining AFC teams.
Okay.
They're going to get the 17th game.
Okay, so they're just going to pick it random. And so, theoretically, they can play Cincinnati next year.
Yeah, they can play Cincinnati, and it's going to be at
Miami.
It's going to be at a neutral site, too.
Oh, really?
They're going to go, international. Every team's going to have, 1 international game.
Oh,
that's where you're getting it. It's an AFC versus NFC international.
Right.
Game.
Now, this is going to happen not this season, but after this season.
The
2021 season.
However, the playoffs will be the 2020 season.
Okay, so they have...
Yeah, so this upcoming season, you're going to have the 17
Let's talk about that for a hot second. I didn't know that part of it. But if that's the case, then if you're the Detroit Lions, in specifically, you have to be over the moon just about that one little thing right there because... as we've talked about ad nauseum at this point, and so has every other Detroit radio host in the world because they have nothing else to talk about, you now allow another spot, and if you're Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn, and that regime, you're like, man, we got to get the playoffs. This opens up another slot for you to get there, so maybe 9-7, 10-6 does get it done, or 10-7, whatever the hell it's going to be, or whatever it is, so
upcoming season would be
right, but that's going to be weird to say. Oh, we went 10-7. It's going to be weird. But yeah, for this upcoming season, maybe 9-7 gets it done, right? Maybe there's a possibility. Maybe you could see 3 teams from the same division, at one point we were talking just a couple years ago. It was like Minnesota, Green Bay and us, or Chicago, whatever. Yeah. It was a 3-team race there for a hot second in a lot of cases. Now,
in a hypothetical, you could see an entire conference make it,
right?
But
usually that doesn't happen.
No, because usually there's at least that one bottom team,
right? Yeah, because the other teams get to play division wins. They all beat each other up, right? Yeah. But point being, if you're in a race, we've seen it now in the past couple of years, at least in our lifetime, when the Lions go down the last game of the season, where you win the division and you're a 3 seed, lose, and you're the 6. Right now, maybe maybe we're the 6, but now we're playing the 3, and maybe we're playing a different set of, or we're playing instead of the 2 or what have you. So you get a little bit of different, you get a different shot honestly. There's potential for bigger upsets. Can you imagine a 2 seed losing on the first? You're the second in the NFC conference and you lose in wild card weekend because the number 17 comes out of nowhere, and it's like there's a lot of different possibilities. Your thoughts on the new CBA? I'm honestly surprised it passed. Just with a lot of the vocal people were the higher player profiles. Obviously,
I think they were shooting for all of the minimum wage players, not the minimum wage players.
Right. The league minimum
players. I think there were more of those than there are high-ranking players.
Oh yeah,
because they're like, hey, instead of $500,000 as a minimum, we're going to increase it to $1 million or whatever.
Yeah,
it was. But like they're like sold. Like give me more money and whatever. Right. Where like the top guys are like, they don't care because they're making $36 million, so that part doesn't include to them. But I think that's where they were getting all the players.
And we've seen player revenue increase. We've seen the player share inside the TV deals, I think, go from 48 to 49%. Yeah. So we've seen some shift there in the money, right? We've also seen, but I think you make a great point, though, and that was some of the bigger things. That's with another regular season game, it's another game check, right? Yeah. Another playoff game, another game check, right? It's those kinds of things. I know some of the higher profile players wanted changes to not only the revenue share, but also changes to something like the franchise tag, right, or the transition tag, or restricted free agency, and those kinds of things. But the biggest thing was they avoided a lockout, which was huge. I didn't think they would. I thought for sure we'd go into this lame duck season, and then next year we were going to be delayed again. But the fact they got it done, and I think you hit the nail right in the head. The majority of players making league minimum, salaries. You go from say $750,000 a year to $900 million, right, per season. That's a big change, for a lot of people. So it sounds funny when you say, "Well, I'm only making $750,000," but if every week you don't know if you have a job, you got to last that whole season. That's a big deal. You know what I mean? So roster guaranteed stuff. We have some, you get qualified for benefits, I think, after, instead of being on a team for 5 years, I think it's shifted now to 3, where once you retire, you get benefits and all that good stuff. So, for being part of the NFL PA, lots of different stuff going on there. But once again, I'm extremely surprised that they did that.
The best part about this is I always like to put the most amount of importance on the regular season. Because I think the postseason is like when the guys are made. Like Patrick Mahomes is made in the postseason. But I think the regular season should be probably the most important part. And I think having the 1 seed as the only seed to get a bye in each side now makes that 1 seed like, let's say if it's like 12-3, 12-3, 12-3, and it's like we have to win this game to get the 1, because now the 2 seed. But before it was like, as long as we get the 2, we're fine, because we get a bye week, home game, and then possibly go on the road. Now it's game, having to go play the 1 seed eventually or whatever on the road. So now it's like. I think that adds the benefit of the regular season to now you have to play to the last week to guarantee that you get that 1 seed.
Exactly. Yep. So I actually just got a notification here that they ratified the agreement with a 1,019 to 959 majority vote. So and they also looks like they just finally set the salary cap too. Literally, as we're on the air here, to salary cap is at $198.2 million for the 2020 season.
It increased of $10 million off last season.
So, and we'll talk about that here in the second half of the show when we do our free agency primer. But like I said, I'm glad there's no lockout, right? That's that would have just been the ultimate kick in the teeth. With everything else that we've had going on this past week, it's just been one thing after another, after another, after another. For that also, for it to be delayed, or we know going into the next season that it's going to be, awful. It's just it would suck for sure, absolutely. Real quick here before we go, I would back to this coronavirus thing real fast. You think we can cancel Mania?
Will they cancel WrestleMania? Yes. I don't know if cancel is the right word. I think they might move it or push it back, only because Tampa shut down all things up until like April 4th.
Right.
And WrestleMania is April 5th. So unless Vince can somehow sway this, but I don't trust 80,000 people coming from everywhere around the world into one venue in Florida. I don't think that's a great idea for the U.S. at all. So I think there's a very high probability that it gets shut down. Or move.
I think it should get. Delayed. Probably is what's going to wind up happening. I think they're hoping that Can we give it a week or two? Let's just see how the reaction is. Okay, if this has really died down, then
I think that's why they're talking about it, but nothing's been announced for WrestleMania, because I think they're literally going, okay, let's see as long as, give me till 2 days before, be like, can we run this show safely?
Right.
I think because at all costs they're going to run it if they can.
If this was any other show outside of Mania, I think it would have already been moved or shut down. But because it's WrestleMania, because you already have this card booked out too. You've announced cards.
Yeah, you
can't change this. You can't change it now. So you're just stuck promoting the same stuff for the next couple months. Oh, it's going to be rough TV for sure. Yeah. All right, after the break, we are going to talk another NFL Merkzone Mock Draft Corner. We're going to talk that, but in this time, the roles are reversed. I'm going to be giving Mike giving him the business. And then after that, we're going to jump right into our free agency primer. We just found out the cap number. We see how much money the Lions have to play with. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned after the break. And welcome back to part 2 of the I Always Right Sports podcast. Let's just jump right in. Merkzone Mock Draft Corner. Flip-it-ized. Flip-it-ized. I made up a word here today. So basically what's going to be happening, usually, if you're a fan of the show, Mike comes up with a beautiful mock draft. We break it down. We kind of, he has me guess. But this week, we flip in the script, a special Merkzone Mock Draft Corner. It's going to be the Mendyka Mock Draft Corner for 1 week only.
It doesn't flow as well.
It does not. Good. Not even. I said it out loud for the first time just now, and I went, I don't like that.
I'm going to put my smart kid sunglasses.
Oh, smart kid sunglasses? Okay.
It's going to give me all the right answers.
There it is. All right, so what this is, right, normally, it's kind of a broken old record to a certain extent, right, with the first couple picks usually, right, because it's Joe Burrow, Chase on, blah, 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 and then when the Lions pick it, that's kind of where it gets interesting for a lot of people. So, this week, though, I found a mock draft by Pro Football Focus. Now, we here on the show we have an uneasy relationship with Pro Football Focus. Sometimes it's nice to see some of those broken down stats. Other times, though, they make no freaking sense whatsoever. And some NFL players who come out and said, you have no idea what we do, how we do things, you're wrong. But in this case, I found this pretty interesting. So this is the Pro Football Focus Analytics Draft. Now, this is from a few days ago, which I don't know how anything could change, really, because there's been no pro days. But basically, this is not a generic mock draft where they're picking who goes where because of X reason. What they're doing is they're using some different logic. They're placing a heavy emphasis on positional value and their college to pro projection. So what does positional value mean? It means that while Saquon Barkley, right, for an example, is a tremendous player, he maybe doesn't contribute to the amount of wins that, say, Daniel Jones will in the future, because Daniel Jones plays quarterback, Saquon Barkley plays running back, okay? So keep that in mind. And then the college to pro projections, I'm looking at it right now, we take into account how each player grades in different situations in college and train algorithms to project performance into a set of NFL situations. So basically, it's basically they're taking in their athletic profile along with, each different type of play in their position, okay? So a little bit different way of thinking about it, right? It's basically, instead of saying, okay, Joe Burrow goes number 1 Cincinnati because he's the best quarterback in everyone's mind, right? He's going to go there. Instead, maybe it says, maybe Tua's better because of the system that they run, or what have you, right? So I'm going to give you the first one for free. Joe Burrow's still the first pick. So the first pick is Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals, right? Everyone's like, don't overthink it. He played amazing last year. Just pick the guy. Okay. Number 2 pick, the Washington Redskins. Who do we have? Thinking about everything. Positional value, I would put an emphasis on this one. Is that. So, you know what I mean? So really emphasize that in your mind when going through this. Because I think some people are going to be shocked by this, especially the top half of the draft.
Okay. Washington. I'm not looking for it. I think sometimes you try to cheat on Mike.
I do not. I am completely clear, and I am.
If you were watching this video, I'm so far away.
I am offended and I'm distraught that you would accuse me of such things.
I'm gonna go defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna stick with Chase Young. With the reasoning of, I think on the defensive side, I think the edge rusher, you need an edge rusher. I think that's the most important position on the field. And so he's the best defensive prospect out there probably, and he's in one of the more important positions.
Right.
So I think they go Chase Young.
Okay. So so you're not right. Okay. They go with Tua. They take Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama. Okay. Right. So here's the rationale behind it, because I like your rationale. They literally said, is Chase Young the better player? Yes. But does he play quarterback? No. And they said T.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack, Myles Garrett, all transcendent pass rushing players, right? They're phenomenal. They didn't make playoffs, right? Yeah. Dwayne Haskins would have probably been the third ranked best passer in the draft. Mm-hmm. So in their minds, they take an upgrade there, right? And it's kind of that's really what it is. So they don't feel like they have a quarterback. That should be your number one priority. Okay. That's.
See, I would argue that I can work with Dwayne Haskins enough to win games.
For sure. But that's what they're saying though, is that if you're trying to take a guy that's going to help, is going to necessarily immediately contribute to a win column, they say that the quarterback position is a bigger rank. Okay. So number 3 now. Also, I will say there's no trades in this. Okay. No trades. So it's all straight up, right? Gotcha. Number 3. The Detroit Lions, who are they taking?
Okay, so with that reason out, so they have Stafford, and that's the most important position.
Right.
So
they do not take a quarterback. They don't take a quarterback at that point. Nope.
So then they have to take Chase Young because he's the best available player left, right?
Right. So that you would think that. This is why this is screwy, right? They take Jeff Okudah. Still. Okay, now here's their rationale behind it, and they even says a lot of Lions fans want to see Chase Young here.
No, I don't.
I mean that's something that I wouldn't be shocked by. But they said that Patricia and the Belichick scheme, right, that he's coming from, don't value edge rushers as much as they do secondary players, because they don't rush a lot, right? So they don't value that. They expect their guys to play a lot of man coverage. They said. They don't know if Darius Slay is going to be there. Justin Coleman struggled during the second half of the season. Quandre Diggs is already gone. They need to rebuild the back end. He's a press man corner, which then allows the Lions to rush more players because they have a better secondary. That's the logic behind it. I don't necessarily agree with this.
I was going to say, I don't agree with that, and here's why. Yeah. I think Isaiah Simmons would fit more into their system than Okudah will, because I think Isaiah Simmons, if you want to say like help the team the most at that point, I think he can play
that. I would almost agree with, because you look at it and you go, wow, that's like a 5-tool player. Yeah, and he's in this coming up here in the next couple picks. The next couple picks, but they don't even have him labeled. They just have him listed as playmaker, right? Okay.
So that's what I mean, because if you're going by what fits their scheme though, so I'm like, okay, you can play inside, outside, you can play safety, and maybe you rush past.
For sure. This is where shit's gonna get. I'm sorry, excuse the language, but this is where stuff's really gonna get like
number 4
crazy. Yeah, because this is where we get like a little weird for a hot second here. Some of these other ones make a little bit more sense.
So the Giants are next.
The Giants are next. You get this. I'm gonna give you a standing ovation, because it's not. Let me put it this way. I'm gonna help you a little bit. It's on the offensive side of the ball.
Okay, that's where I was actually gonna go.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So
offensive side of the ball, and I'm gonna give you another one too. It's not a tackle.
Okay, that's exactly where I was going to go.
I had a feeling you were going to, so it's not a tackle. I was going to
go left tackle and name a guy.
Yeah, right.
So I guess, I don't know how they value Daniel Jones at that point.
No, it's not a quarterback. No, there's not another quarterback taken until for
a good while.
The whole rest of the first round, I think.
I'm shocked that Herbert doesn't go anywhere there.
Right. I'm looking at keep going. I know the pick, so keep going.
So number 4... So the Giants, it's not offensive lineman, it's somewhere on the offense, so it has to be, do they go like CD Lamb?
Is that your final pick?
Yeah.
You were right on the position. It's wide receiver, they go Henry Ruggs. That's why I said this is weird.
Okay, I agree to it, because I get Henry Ruggs is very fast and can open up the middle of the field, but I think that CD Lamb can almost do the same thing, but he's just a better prospect.
Right, they said basically Jerry Jeudy is their top receiver in Pro Football Focus's world, right? But they said that their projections slightly favor Ruggs. He lined up primarily out wide. They already have a decent slot guy with Golden, obviously. They like Darius Slayton still, that he kind of came on, right?
So Ruggs going to be the outside.
Ruggs is the outside, just running straight down. He's their Tyreek, you know what I mean? So that's kind of their rationale behind it. Once again, I would think they'd probably go tackle, if not defense. But
I think that's.
Let me just put this out there. This is not how this draft's going to go, by any means of stretch of imagination. But it's fun to kind of look at and go, oh, okay. If once you understand the logic behind it, you can get there. Yeah. You know what I mean? All right, let's go. Let me see. All right, let's do Miami, and then after that, I'll kind of just give you some names after that. So number 5, Miami. Once again, no more quarterbacks are taken off the board. Who do they take? This draft already is shot because there's no way Miami gets out of the first round and doesn't take a quarterback. Yeah. It's just dumb.
I honestly think one very, very late in this weird world that we're living in.
Yeah, they don't. I already checked their whole rest of the draft. They did not take one.
I guess... See, here's the problem with Miami is they need a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. So
they go defense first.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say they go Isaiah Simmons only because he can play 12 positions on the defense. There's only 11 of them.
Nope, they go edge rusher Chase Young.
Oh, I forgot he's still there.
Yeah, I know, right? So they go Chase Young, basically the same reason why we would take him maybe number 3, right? Yeah. Best player in the draft, yada, right? Okay. Some ones of note, number 6, Tristan Wirfs from Iowa. He's the one that, they have a bad offensive line, and he's, they took him running that fast 40 and everything else as athleticism to be the top one.
Here's my only problem with that is since free agency hasn't hit yet.
Oh yeah, for sure, right? Exactly.
Like there's my because like Cincinnati at that point, I would go. You would at least have Andy Dalton there,
right,
or whatever.
Right. As of now,
as of like the second,
right?
Like
no doubt,
the Chargers don't even have a quarterback on their roster spot, so you would have to take
Geno
a quarterback
Smith right now. I think.
Whatever.
But number 7, that's where Isaiah Simmons goes, right? He's basically they say he's a steal to replace Luke Kuechly. Yada. Tremendous athlete. Number 8 is Jerry Jeudy. Tackle. Wow, they have tackle Josh Jones going number 10. Ooh, that's crazy. Okay. CeeDee Lamb goes 11 to the Jets.
Okay.
Laviska Shenault, the wide receiver out of Colorado, goes 13. Wow. Over Justin Jefferson, who goes 15. Trevon Diggs.
Where'd you say Isaiah Simmons goes?
He goes to Carolina.
Carolina.
Yep.
Okay. Without Luke Kuechly, that's a fit, I guess.
Antoine Winfield, who's a lot of guys have projected them to go to the Lions in the second round. He goes 17 to Dallas. Miami takes C.J. Henderson from Florida, a cornerback at their number 18 pick. Let's see. There's a lot. Chase Claypool, the guy that I'm really high on from Notre Dame, he goes 24 to New Orleans. That wouldn't shock me. Wow, they took another corner. Wow. Miami takes Jeff Gladney from TCU, a cornerback, and their 26 picks. So they went defense. Wow.
Really stacked up that defense.
Oh my goodness. There's a lot of tackles, there's a lot of corners, there's a lot of wide receivers, and there's a lot of that's pretty much the just that.
Yeah, they just took
they took who's the best athlete, right? And then they said, okay, where do they fit these needs accordingly to what team? Is basically what they do based off of scheme. So a little bit interesting take. I thought it was different than something we've done normally. Do I think that's how the draft is going to go? Not even close. No. Not even a little bit. There's no way that Justin Herbert goes completely out of the first round. Shoot, I don't think Jordan Love gets out of the first round. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do our individual mock drafts or something like that. Maybe coming up here, especially if we get some more time on the draft. All right, let's jump right in now to I think is the main event, the free agency primer. Now, free agency as of this recording, I haven't seen anything online yet to say that is going to be delayed. I don't know how it's not going to be delayed, but we got to act like it's not. New CBA is in effect. We know the salary cap numbers, all that good stuff. Let's just jump right in here. There's a lot of guys out there. There's a lot of dreamers. There's a lot of people where you go, wow, there's a lot of people out there, that the Lions could go grab. Whether they actually do or not is going to be the case. The Lions just cut Rick Wagner, right? They're starting right tackle. There's been no indication they're going to re-sign Graham Glasgow. So you need to basically rebuild one half of your line. I know they like Tyrell Crosby. I don't know if he's going to be the starting right tackle. Maybe they assume that, it can't get much worse with Wagner because Wagner was terrible. So it's kind of one of those things to where they save $6 million in cap. You got the list of free agents pulled up here, Mike? Okay, cool. I'm going to look at how much cap the Lions actually have. They have about $51 million in cap. Now, before anybody goes crazy here, just for a second, that's number 16 in the league, right? So smack dab in the middle. League average is around $45 million. But also just keep in mind too, you gotta sign your rookies too. So they're not gonna blow $66 million right here, right? Or $51 million right off the bat. Okay. The highest cap total, Miami, clearly $94 million. Indianapolis has $85. Tampa has $84, which is crazy, but they're not paying a quarterback, so I guess it makes sense. Yeah, Buffalo, that's a team. Wow, they have $77 million cap. They had a nice season last year. That's a team to look out for. But the Lions have the most salary cap, especially in their division. The next closest team is Green Bay with $25 million in cap. The Chicago Bears have $23 million in cap. Minnesota has 19 because they just cut Xavier Rhodes. Everson Griffin just opted out, and Linville Joseph. So they were actually at negative cap. And they just cleared out some space. Pittsburgh is currently the only team that has negative cap space with negative $2.9 million, which is crazy. Atlanta has $721,000 in cap right now, and New Orleans has $11 million. So those are your bottom three, and then Jacksonville rounds out the bottom four with $15 million, which is crazy because Jacksonville's awful. Usually they're always on the top of that heap. But
they're paying a backup quarterback $80 million.
I know, they're trying to trade him. Yeah. Who's going to take that? That's just the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But anyway, all right, so back to your Detroit Lions for a hot second here, right? $51 million in cap. The big thing is, what are the needs, right? So let's break down these needs for a hot second here. We've got cornerback, obviously, right? Now, that's why free agency is so important for a variety of reasons. Number one, it complements what you do in the draft. But two, it's going to change what people do in the draft now based off of who they land. So if the Lions land Byron Jones and they keep Slay, they sign Slay to an extension, right? Maybe Jeff Okudah now is off the board for them, right? You got $1 gazillion worth of money invested in that. So maybe Isaiah Simmons or Derrick Brown is the pick, right? If they don't, Slay gets traded, whatever. Now you got Justin Coleman, Owarie, and a whole bunch of, whatever. Maybe, but, that takes some precedent. Let's go over a couple guys, though, that maybe we have already signed. Greg Olsen goes to your Seattle Seahawks, 1 year, $7 million, right? Josh Norman goes to Buffalo for a $6 million deal. Demetrius Harris, tight end, blah, blah, blah. He signed with Chicago. And then John Wetzel, guard, stays in Atlanta for a 1 year, $930,000 deal. Anyway, a couple guys are probably going to get franchise tag. Brandon Sheriff, the guard from Washington, he's going to get that. He's going to get the tag. I think Chris Jones, the defensive tackle from Kansas City, he's going to get the tag. Is there any other big names getting the franchise tag?
It would be interesting if Dak gets a tag.
Oh, Dak probably will. Honestly, He wants $40 million a year. Yeah. I don't even think about quarterbacks half the time because we have Stafford, so I don't even for free agency purposes. I don't really think about it. But some of the guys that are, let's just go with the top 50, right? Technically, Drew Brees is still a free agent. He's going to go back to New Orleans. Tom Brady. Before we talk Lions for a hot second here, where do you think Brady goes? I am still, to my core, think he's going to go back to New England after he just be like, see, I could have left. But at the same time, just because in my mind, it's like if you want to win, it makes no sense to go anywhere else because nobody else has the cap space to get you there outside of the Colts.
Yeah. I would say my only argument team is Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they have the cap and are able to sign you, retain the team they had last year.
Well, I think they franchised Ryan Tannehill, didn't they? Did they franchise tag?
I don't think so. He's
not yet? Oh, okay. Maybe they haven't yet. I thought they did. Maybe I'm wrong. But continue. Yep.
Well, because they're going to sign either one of them.
Right.
I think I'd rather have Tannehill at this point because if you sign Tannehill, he showed that he's good and he can also play. But I guess you can't go wrong with Brady at this point either. Right. And so I think if I had to guess Brady,
I think you saw what Tannehill can get you to. You know what I mean? With the perfect circumstances, right? So I think if you're Tennessee, I'd be very, very cautious about giving Tannehill a bunch of money.
I don't think a lot of money, but I do think I don't know if I'm up to playing Brady $30 million at 40.
No doubt. I'm just saying, for me, I'm just like, whoa, boy, Ryan Tannehill, he's 32. It's not like he's a young whippersnapper either. You know what I mean? I know Brady's 43. That's a bit of a difference, but point being, he's not, and he has not shown outside of this season, so I'd be a little nervous, especially if you're not going to keep Derrick Henry around. Chris Jones, he's a defensive end, defensive tackle. He's going to get,
he got the franchise.
Yeah, he's going to get franchise tag. Amari Cooper, I don't think he's in the Lions' plans at all. I don't think he's going to stay in Dallas. I don't think they have the money to pay. I don't think, they have a lot of cap space, but if you're going to sign Dak, or franchise tag Dak, that's $25-30 million right there. You're going to have to, at some point, you got to make a decision on Cooper because, $20 million a year for a wide receiver?
See, this is where I think it's crazy because I think I would rather pay Cooper that than pay Dak that.
Yes,
I'd rather go, okay, grab me Jordan Love in the draft and then give me Amari Cooper.
Absolutely.
And
your defense is pretty set. Yeah. You're losing Byron Jones. Now, here's the first guy I think that the Lions are somewhat around, right? I would assume, right? So, in your opinion, let's just assume for a second there that the impact on Slay there's no impact, right? You know what I mean? So, say Slay's here for a year, then he's gone, he gets traded, whatever. I do still think that they're going to be in on Byron Jones in some capacity. Whether he actually comes here or not is not necessarily the case, but I think Byron Jones is definitely somebody that the Lions are taking a very, very strong look at right now.
Yes, I agree. I think him and who's the other one? Chris Harris Jr.
Yes.
I think both of them are
definitely on the radar.
Definitely at least on the radar, if not like, hey, come here, we're interviewing kind of thing. Like I think it's definitely gotta be one of those two.
Absolutely. I think another guy too. I don't know if they're going to invest the kind of money that they want. But especially if they don't like Tyrell Crosby, I'm going to skip down a little bit here to Jack Conklin, the right tackle out of Tennessee. I think he's going to want a lot of money. So it's something around $15 to $18 million is what they're projecting that he gets. I wouldn't be shocked by that number whatsoever. The Lions have shown that if they want to sign a guy, they will pay big money to get him. I don't know if they like Crosby enough to give him that run or not, but I think that's somebody to look at. I think the next two guys, if you're looking at Spot Track right now.
Yeah.
So I think two guys that would fit and make a lot of sense for them. Corey Littleton, the inside linebacker from the Rams. That's a guy that's probably been mocked, I guess, free agency positioned to the Lions a lot, right? I do think they need some help at linebacker. I don't know what they're going to do with Jerry Davis, so I think that needs to make a decision. I also think Devin McCourty is another guy. I know he plays free safety. I know he's an older dude, but I do think that him as a leader, right, I think what that allows you to do then almost is put Tracy Walker in a weird like Palomalu kind of role where he's just roaming, being a playmaker. I would see something like that as well.
I would. That's the first one I would disagree with. Yeah. I don't think safety is a place where I would look at for free agency. I would go more on the offensive line, corner, linebacker spots.
No doubt.
So I do like the leadership that he would bring. Yeah. But I think you can really work with Tracy Walker.
I love Tracy Walker. He's for sure. Even, Will Harris.
Yeah. I think they will fit in just perfectly.
Right.
So I don't think that they need that, especially if they do end up getting like a Byron Jones and they draft like Isaiah Simmons type player. Right. I think
your athleticism is through.
Yeah, I think you're perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, no doubt. And here's the thing, right? I'm just going through guys that I have seen kind of rumored and looking at people. I think another guy, DJ Reader, the defensive tackle out of Houston. You need D-tackle help, right? Yeah. I think Darius Kilgo, is gone too as well. Snacks Harris is gone. You don't got a lot of bodies there, right? I think he fits. He's 26. I'm always a little bit weary, though, of paying D-tackles a ton of money. I feel like that's like one of those positions where it's like, you can obviously tell they're not a good player. You know what I mean? Like, all right, they're projecting him to get a 5-year, $60 million deal. It's like, man, for a D-tackle, woof. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, gosh, dang it. That's like...
I would say, the next guy I would look at is Joe
Tooney.
Tooney, is that his name? Tooney?
Yeah.
Guard out of New England.
Yes.
He's 27, now, looking at $14 million, which is high, but I think for a guard, I think it could really work out.
Here's the part that's crazy, right? And I'd honestly be a little annoyed because here's my thing. Now, if Joe is an immediate upgrade over Glasgow, fine. But Glasgow is going to command probably $10 to $12 million a year, right? I project him to go probably somewhere like the Jets. That's probably where I say. Like Kelechi Osemele, he was there last year. They had that weird medical issue. He's not there. I think he's a fit there. But you're going to go pay now Joe from New England. Now, granted, right, I think he's a better player than Glasgow is. But Glasgow plays guard and center, right? You're going to cost you more money. I don't know why you just don't keep Glasgow. You know what I mean? I don't disagree with you that he's on their radar, but the logic behind him coming here is like, then why didn't you just play Glasgow? He was your draft pick. Just re-sign him. He hasn't missed a start ever. You know what I mean? He's versatile. It just doesn't make a lot of sense, like from an organizational standpoint. I don't really get it. I think another two guys that also fit too, Robert Quinn, I know he's older, but I think he could come in cheaper. I don't think he's coming in at $12 million a year. There's no way that's happening. And I think Kyle Van Noy, I really do. I know people are like, oh my gosh, no way, but seriously, in all honesty, he fits the scheme now. He did not fit the scheme with Terrell Austin. He did not. So you look at it now and you go, He's one of New England's better defensive players, right? And you go and you say, all right, we need linebacker help. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen as well. Is there anybody else here, at least at the top 50, that you kind of see that maybe fits what you think that maybe the Lions are looking for?
I think you could, looking at the bottom here, I think of Brian Poole out of New York Jets. He's 27-year corner.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to pay him too much.
No, he's a bridge.
And I think, he's a bridge guy because I think if you're going to work with Slade this year and maybe let him go after this year, I think you can, if you don't get Byron or Chris Harris and you don't want to get a corner in this one, you can have Brian Poole play and develop Amani for one more season, and hopefully Amani can come in and maybe even just fill one of the two slots and then maybe draft another guy or get another guy next year in free agency, where then you can kind of fill that out. So I think you can have a transitional guy in Brian Poole.
Yep. I think another guy too to look at, especially if they're not in love with Tyrell Crosby, I think Cordy Glenn, the tackle out of Cincinnati, just got cut. He plays tackle, right? I think that's a guy. He's 30 years old. I think he comes in on a short. I think he could come in on a short-year deal. I know Cincinnati tried to trade him. I think as a gap guy, maybe if you're not in love with Crosby, you take a guy maybe in the second or third round to fill that spot future. I wouldn't be shocked by that. What, in your opinion? Just because here's my conundrum with this free agency period. Last year I felt like, all right, the Lions were going to be in on some big fish, right? So before we close the show, I want you to give me, if there's one guy, right, the one big fish, the shiny new toy that Lions be like, oh yes, got this guy. First day of free agency when it opens, who's that guy for you? Because I don't know, and that's a scary thought for me. Because I was like Trey Flowers is coming here. I was saying it. We were saying it in the Super Bowl. We were saying it halfway through the regular season. Like he's going to be a Lion next year. It was almost a lock. It felt like. I don't know if they go necessarily super big fish this year. I don't know what they're going to do. Now, I guess that's a two-parter. Who, if they get a big fish, who is your guy? Or two, would you rather them go big fish and get, say, two big guys and a whole bunch of meh, or get like 4 or 5, okay, but not wow?
I won't. If my big guy, I think, is Byron Jones from corner out of Dallas.
It's going to be around $15 to $16 million annually.
I think if you pull him, I think at that point, trade Slay or keep Slay. I think if you keep him, you just have two great corners with Coleman playing the slide. And if you get rid of him, I think Byron Jones can play at least one side. So then if you want to get Okudah, I think at that point you're not really losing value at the corner position. So I think Byron Jones is probably my big fish. But I would rather them go get Corey Littleton, a guard, and Brian Poole as 3 guys, and just kind of call it a day, filling out the needs of kind of your team. So when you go into the draft, you're more like, I'm not taking this guy because I need Jeff Okudah as a corner. You're taking Isaiah Sims because I'm like, it's just like, I just know he can play a lot, and it's like I got my linebackers. He's just kind of like there to help out more. Or maybe you can get Okudah and just be like, now I have 3. I can play a dime defense amazingly or something. You know what I mean? You're not like it's like a need. It's more of like thanks.
Exactly right. And being able to take the best player available is going to make it the most immediate impact. Absolutely. Yeah, I think Byron Jones. I think DJ Reader is the other one that I think that if they're going to be in on, I think he's the guy. I think he fits that scheme really well. They needed a dominant defensive tackle there to make that defense work. We saw what happened with Snacks last half of the second year, or last year, or 2 years ago, I should say. And so I think that's definitely a spot of need. It's going to be very interesting because as long as it's not 2 years ago where, wow, it's Devon Kennard and Christian Jones, man, just blow my brains out right away because that's so anti-inspiring. It's so like anything, So I hope that they're in. I hope that the pressure's on. The heat's they couldn't be any hotter, that seat. So they better get the job done and they better figure it out fast. All right, for the Missing Whaleman, for the Merkzone, I'm the Mouth of Michigan, and that will be it for episode 68. Stay safe out there. We love you. Thank you for all the support, and we will see you guys as always next time.